Oh, yes. Hi, Lee. We're having a bit of technical problems here, but I'm sure that we will sort it out as we go along. Can you hear us all right, Lee? Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Fuck, why does everyone message me? They must message you, Lee, because you're the social media manager. And we couldn't find... Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We were trying to get on, but the Wi-Fi was playing up. So I'm using Carl's phone, and Carl is talking under my name, which could be a bit dangerous. Good evening, all. Sorry we're late. For those who've just joined, we had Wi-Fi problems, and it is now sorted out. I'm going to talk tonight on how we change. And I'd just like to thank Helen Goodison, and I'd like to thank Butch van Rensburg for the wonderful talks they gave in the last 2 days. And I see the people coming on here, and Sandra, Michelle, Lee J, Consier, Diane, Lee J, Sally, Craig, Diane, all right, and Leroy. When I was drinking, my attitude was totally selfish, which was totally self-centered, and we heard that last night from the Just come here, bro. Okay, from the parents that it's all about me, myself, and I. And once it's about me, myself, and I, nothing is going to stop it. And in the self-centeredness, the real thing comes, my pleasure, my comfort comes first. To hell with the rest. Huh? What I want to do, and I will do it as far as I want to do it. You don't take other people's feelings into consideration. You don't take other people's plans into consideration. You just carry on and do what you want to do. Most of the time, the people that are getting hurt are our loved ones, and they're getting painfully hurt. So in our pleasure and our comfort, we're getting drunk, we're getting drugged, we're getting whores, we're getting whatever we're getting. But our parents and our loved ones are at home. Our loved ones are at home worrying, are they going to get the call from the police? Is he going to be on a slab? Is Anthony going to not come home? Is he going to be in a car crash? And they can't sleep. But the whole pressure is not on us. They taking the pressure, and we're having the good time. We're having the fun. We're having the jolls. We're going out there, not interested about everyone. Self-centered in the extreme. Not even self-centered halfway, but self-centered in the extreme. A lot of people come into a rehabilitation center, and after 2 weeks, they realize they got a mother. And they'll come to me and they'll say to me, Mr. Hall, I really need to speak to my mother. So I say, why? No, it was her birthday 3 months ago. Hey, brother, catch a wake up, man. How many birthdays did I miss of my mother's? I was invited to the Christmas lunches. And my mom would say to me, Anthony, don't you want to come a bit later? Be very special. Because she knew, sorry, I'm smoking. Got plenty of cigarettes for everyone's. You can just speak to my manager, Kurt. He's the merchandiser. And so even family weddings or family gatherings became a very stressful time for the family. Because how would the addict behave? Not Anthony or Kurt, but how would the addict behave? Because when we're sober, we're kind of normal people. When we're not sober, well, put it this way. After my first couple of drinks, I cannot guarantee you anything. But one thing, I can guarantee you chaos. There'll be chaos. Doesn't have to be fighting and all that stuff. It'll be chaos. Now when we get sober, our whole life, I remember, Michelle, my mom saying to me, Anthony, when you were on the streets for almost 2 years, when you were in prison, I never slept. All I did was pray that you were right, but even though I put you in prison, We don't think about those things. But when we're in the shit, the first person we run to is mom and dad. When everything is against us, we run to mom and dad. So the whole attitude while we are drunk is self-centered. And when we do wrong, we go to mommy and daddy and we say, mommy and daddy, sorry I did this, give me another chance, give me another chance. Until the body feels good again. Because we suffer from the disease of forgetfulness. We suffer from the disease of forgetfulness. When we come into addiction recovery, we must listen to learn and learn to listen. But we could have learned to listen and listen to learn with our own parents. But I didn't listen to my dad, I listened to another man. So a lot of times that they are lying awake at night, worrying where their children are. We aren't having a fat all of our lives. We think it's big fun. And that is self-centered in the extreme. And that's when my mother and my father cut it off, because they put in the boundaries. This is the way it's going to work. And if you don't work it according, how's it, Andrew? If you don't work it according to this way, then go take the highway. That people say is tough love. I don't really call it tough love. What I've seen in the last 15 years, what I've been in this calling, I see it as love. Because a parent can watch a child drug and drink themselves to death. The same way the child can go out and get drugged and die outside the home. If you want to be an ouruka and you want to walk around with the guys and think you're a big shot, take the punishment. Go out there and do it outside there. And that's what my mom and dad said to me. You're not going to do it in my home. You're not going to do it, because I'd run to mom and dad as soon as I was in trouble, and I say, Mom, especially my mom, because she was my enabler like Michelle. And my mom would say, Anthony, please stop it. Please stop it. Mom, this was just one time. Meantime, it was 101 times. And then my mom would say, Anthony, I can't with your dad anymore. I'm busy lying to your father to keep you sleeping in your bedroom. What do you want me to do, Anthony? I can't carry on lying to your father. Hi, Laura. Ashley, my brother. Keep up the good work there with the schooling. You're the man. Andrew, how's it? Cindy, how's it? Teresa, how's it? So, we go on. Just made a few notes here. So now my whole attitude to life must change. What has to change? I have to change. I have to change first. I can't make up for lost time. But I can make up to a point where whatever life they've got left, I can be the son that my mother and father brought into this world. I tell parents who come in here, and there are some parents online here now, I won't guarantee you that your son will never use again. But if he listened, and he's serious, and he takes out the new toolbox out of this room, he will stay sober. I guarantee you that your son will change, and he'll be like a new boy when he leaves here. And I'm not talking about weight and muscles and six-packs like I've got and all that kind of crap, man. Because too often parents, and I love them, they look at the outside and they say, wow, my boy's looking so good. Meantime, the filth is inside. We do addiction recovery from the inside out, not the outside in. That's why a lot of guys, when they come here, they're here 2 days. Mr. Hall, Mr. Kurt, can we go to gym? What do you want to go to gym for, bro? Isn't recovery a bit more important? And the next stage you can go to gym, and the next stage you can go for a run, and the next stage you can go and do this, because it's all a process. When you picked up your first pipe, you didn't suddenly pick up 100 pipes. A lot of people started with dope, then they went on to tuck, then they went on to whatever they wanted to go on. Sorry guys for smoking if you haven't got NCs, but There are those unfortunates. And so the attitude changed. But now, what I found in my life was the action part. My words had failed. My words had failed my loved ones. Now it was action. If I couldn't put the action in, if I couldn't put the action in, my words again would fail me. My mother and father were walking on eggshells, even though my dad was a big man, would be walking on eggshells. When will Anthony fall off the bus again? I have so much pity, you won't believe it, for people that have sent their kids to rehabs. 80,000 a year, 40,000 a year, 60,000 a year. And they come out 2 days later in relapse. Because I believe that the way we do addiction recovery, and I've got no diplomas, I've got a standard 7, I've got nothing else. I'm just a sober alcoholic and drug addict by the grace of God. Respect, morals, values, and discipline. Discipline, the key. Then respect. We get back our morals. We get back our values. That's what we teach on this farm. I'm not going to teach you what heroin does to you. Teach you what tuck does to you. You're living proof what tuck does to you. You're living proof what alcohol does to you. So we have slides, and we have slides going on when some people, I talk at a lot of schools around this country. And the one teacher I'll never forget from this very Lani school, I don't even think they smoke cigarettes there, but probably they go to Mavericks or something. And, hey, Michelle, they'll be opening soon, Michelle. I'm trying my best to get it open for you. I don't go there. And, but I've been there. But she said, where's your slide? You need it projected. You need... Hello, Cheryl. I must tell you quickly about Cheryl. Cheryl is famous. Cheryl Parker. She played a round of golf with President Ramaphosa. And we all know what the country is looking like now. So, Cheryl, I will forever hold that against you. But you're a lovely person. You're a beautiful person. Hi, Alma. Hi, Katrina. I said, how's it to Cindy? So, coming back to that part of where we... geez, I lost my train of thought now when Cheryl came on. Is... the action part and mom, etc. And often I would say to them, Mom, this will be the last chance. Just give me one more chance and I will stop it, Mom. Coming back to the rehabs, the people who leave rehabs, you must be disciplined in a rehab. And discipline doesn't mean to go and work for 20 hours a day. Discipline means when you sit at a bloody table and you eat with 30 people, you eat like a decent human being, like your mother and father taught you. Discipline is when you go to the toilet, you clean the bloody toilet so the next person can use it. Discipline is if you have a cup of coffee, you get off your fat, lazy ass, and you go put it in the kitchen, and you wash it, and you put it on the drying rack. Discipline is when you get up in the morning, the first thing you do is make your bed. It all starts with making the bed. And that is what we do at RAEL. People say, what is we've got a big success rate. God is in charge of this place. But we haven't got halos. We are the last chance saloon. People come from the larniest rehabs. And they come here and they say, you're Mr. Hall, you and Mr. Kurt, don't take shit, eh? No, my brother. We love, but if you're going to cross our boundaries, it's the same as you crossing your mother's and father's boundary. Our boundary will not be crossed. You know why? Because we crossed everyone else's boundary. Spare my feelings, save my life. And then eventually it builds, and the guys come and they love the discipline. Like they leave the storeroom open with all the different tools in. Hi, Louis. Different tools in. My brother a storeroom. Or they go to the toilet and they leave the light on. Does your dad work for Eskom? So you're teaching them exactly the morals and values. And what I'm saying tonight is that what my dad, please take this, just take this as it is. This is the gospel truth. What my mother and father taught me, that this man of 56 didn't listen to, is today how I run this house. My dad is running this house from heaven. House from the room next door from where I'm talking. They taught me everything about respect, morals, values, and discipline. The drugs, the alcohol, the whores stole it from me. It stole it from me. There's respect in my home. Anyone who hasn't been into this farm, you will see respect. A lady or a gentleman walks into my lounge, all the men will stand up. They will greet him at the doors. If you're pretty like Michelle comes here a lot. She gets kissed and hugged, and I think that's why her son is here, and that's why I think she comes here so much. But we have a lot of fun as well. Today, the guys, a typical day, what we had today. Kurt went home for his weekend off. He gets paid too much. He has too much time off, but he's brilliant. I couldn't ask for a more brilliant manager. You know why? Because he's walked the road. I know the man 15, 17 years, and he's walked the road with me. We've had our hiccups when he left on my mother's birthday 3 years ago to go and test the theory, but he came back, and today he runs my home. And we make a formidable team, even if I must say so. Because we both love each other. We both know what we did to our parents. We both know what we did to people. And we both know that we were almost at the end of our lives when we stopped. Today, we went to a farmer yesterday. We just drove past. I went to go show a guest of ours. A guest that came to see the farm, a bit of the Breda Valley. And we drove past a farmer and we saw wingerdstokke. You know, you can make lekker braais with. And I stopped there and I said to him, sir, I'm from a rehabilitation center. We can cut it up. We can do whatever. The guys can make money. Graham's got his workshop here, does panel beating. He earns the money. I don't earn the money. Because it's empowering lives. You must empower a man's life. We've got Carl here who does his taxes. And he does his taxes properly. And if he wants advice, I give him advice like my dad gave me an advice. I would never give a man false advice while they're under my care, because what's the motive? What's the motive? I have to be honest and rigorous honest in all my affairs. Thanks, Cindy. In all my affairs. So they went today and they did 6 loads up to Slanghoek. They came back with the vineyards here, or the vineyards, or the wingerdstokke, and there's plenty of it now. Plenty of it. They came home, had a shower, had a meal, had their supper, and then I went to go and speak to them in the dining hall, and tonight they're watching a movie in Ernie's Den. Tomorrow they'll be up 6:30. 7 o'clock will be breakfast. They will do their duties around here, spring cleaning their rooms, all the time for those who've been here. And tomorrow I'm sending them for a hike through the Breda Valley Mountains. You have to give something new to a person to look forward to. The old habits have to change. They must have fun. Because I can tell you now, the alcohol, heroin, drugs takes the fun away. There's no fun. Because you get to the invisible line, and once you have crossed the invisible line, you're gone. Hi, Dominic. You know, I'm not knocking psychiatrists and psychologists. But a psychiatrist and psychologist can't tell me what it feels like to live on the streets. He can't tell me what it was like in prison. He can't tell me when I'm craving for alcohol. He can't tell me what it's like to go through withdrawals. We as people here in this organization wants to be empowered. We have put off, myself and Kurt, a lot of people off this farm. When we see that you are busy wasting your time and your parents' money, we ask you to go. Because we're not money driven. If we were money driven, I'd charge 80,000 rand a month. But I'm not interested in that crap. You know, so as we go further into, you know, we worked the steps, and we started with the steps the other night. We work the steps, the 12 steps. We go to meetings when we leave here, and we carry the message to the still suffering alcoholic. Hi, Claire, how are you? Thanks for the beautiful message. And we carry the message to the still suffering alcoholic and addict, because that's what we were. Now it's our time to go and carry this message to help addicts, alcoholics, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. You know, if I may say this, we are the only rehab in the world who is doing this. And God gave myself and Kurt that idea, and we sat down and he said, hey, do you think we can do this? Well, why not? And we're doing it. And we're not doing it for self-glory. We're not doing it for money. We're doing it to educate. Just to educate. Educate and hope that that next boy or that next girl that leaves school, who goes to school, doesn't become an addict. Because every school has got an addict. Every school has got a drug dealer. Every school has sometimes got 3 drug dealers. They legalize the dope. So now the kids take an opportunity to decide, okay, you know what? Who can grow the strongest dope? What do you get up with? Come to my farm and see the people here with schizophrenia from dope. From dope. And that's why we went to court. And we went to court to try and oppose the judgment. But they won. Our kids lost. And our kids lost big time. Big time. Those judges, I'm not allowed to comment on that. I'm willing to go to any lengths to get sober. Anything that will keep me sober, I'm going to go and do it. I've been doing this for 15 years now. And I think I've still got the same passion I had 15 years ago. Because my very life depended on it. For the first 2 years, I just did meetings before I opened up RAEL. Sorry, that's my dog's just tripping. I love recovery. I sleep recovery, eat recovery. I got passionate about recovery. My manager is exactly the same. Kurt Shirley is exactly the same. Now people will say, hey, you and Kurt would have made a mean team in the drugging days. Oh, yes, no, we would have. Both naughty bastards. But when it comes to running this house, oh no. You're going to find recovery here. You're going to find a new life here. You're going to find respect, morals, values, and discipline. You may not start and find it in the beginning, but you're going to find it. And the most important thing that we can ever find, my friends, here is God. We don't pump God. We have our devotions in the morning, every single morning. We have our church here. We've got a church here on the premises as well. We're the only church in the world that doesn't take a collection. It's not about the kroon, huh? For those people who don't know what the word kroon means, it's a slang word for money. We don't take a collection. God supplies all our needs according to His riches and glory. All our needs, we are survived. And it's so beautiful. So we know that God is on top. Below that is our sobriety. And anything that we put on top of sobriety, we lose. Whether it's a girlfriend, a wife, a mistress, you name it, you lose. And I'm living testimony to that. Living testimony to that. It's only with a heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. People can come in here and talk the biggest lot of shit. Excuse my language, ladies. Because you can read a recovery book and think that you're an addiction guru. And you can talk all the rehab talk, one day at a time, Mom. How you going, my boy? One day at a time. Why aren't you looking for a job? I'm keeping it simple, Mom. They told me at AA, keep it simple. Just for today. Easy does it, Mom. These are the slogans from AA. I can't go against the slogans, Mom. So I'm easy doesing it. But you've been sitting on the bloody couch for 2 weeks. Mom, let go and let God. He will know. And your mother looks at you and says, my boy, you have learned so much at AA. And you look at Mom and you say, hey, Mom, I'm only just for today, Mom. And then Mom comes, you know, my boy, shouldn't you go out and look for a job? Easy does it, Mom. Live and let live, Mom. As long as we live and let live, they tell me in recovery, Mom, I'll go far in life. So let me live and let live for the next year while you pay for me, while you look after me, while I don't go look for a job, and I'm sitting and bordering on a relapse back to hell. A turning fork is a small tool that is used to tune musical instruments. It is tapped softly and then set down as it vibrates. It gives off a musical tone. Now, we're not talking about the vibrators that Jackson and Tembe from the ANC said will help with the coronavirus. When its vibrations perfectly match the vibrations of note played on the instrument is in tune. When the note matches the turning fork, this can be both felt and heard. Our hearts work like a tuning fork. When the heart feels completely in tune with a decision, or thought or action in our lives, then we know it's the right one for us. We can actually feel the harmony inside our bodies. Sometimes what we know deep in our hearts gets clouded over by doubts and questions and other people's opinions and judgments. We need to clear away such clouds and listen to our hearts, for our hearts carry the wisdom of God. Am I in tune with my heart today? What people think about Anthony Hall is none of my business. It's got absolutely nothing to do with me. As long as I know that I've put my head on the hi, Luandro. You left up 2 days ago. Hope it's going well, my boy. Hi, Violet. Amen. God could and God would and God did. Carried you through. Amen. So, you know, when people come up on opinions, judgments on our lives and judgments on hey, you did this in your past. Yes, I did. And one of the main thing was when they want to throw up the past, we can just throw back at them. Yes. And Jesus Christ dropped all the charges. We're not that thick. Sometimes we think fear ought to be classed with stealing. It seems to cause more problems. How many times in our lives have we've got ourselves into predicaments? We've had our loved ones get ourselves out of those predicaments. But sometimes we had to pay the price. I paid the price of going to the streets after being a director of a company, drug squad detective, murder and robbery squad detective. I had it all in life. But I lost it just like that. Alcohol and drugs stripped me bare. And only by the grace of God, you guys with me. I'll never forget that. Never forget that. I've never seen an alcoholic or an addict who has got so down and so bad that they can't recover. You will recover if you want to. I need to stay, Anthony Hall, the recovering addict alcoholic, I need to stay out of my own way and let a greater power guide me It's better than anything I could ever have dreamt of. When God is in the pilot seat and I'm sitting in the co-pilot seat, I know nothing can go wrong. But a lot of times us addicts, we want to go into the driving seat. We want to be the drivers. Know everything. The drugs and the alcohol makes us think that Einstein was some boy who got a standard 5. Humility is teachability. To be humble does not mean in our eyes to be a doormat. It means to be humble so we can be taught. And we must think when we wake up in the morning, draw up a bloody gratitude list. Hi, Marlene. Draw up a gratitude list. It can start, hey, I've opened my eyes, number 1. Number 2, I can move my legs to get out of bed. Number 3, I can walk to go to the toilet. Number 4, I can eat. Number 5, I can put a cigarette on. It gets a bit difficult in this country, but don't worry about that. Number 6, I can walk outside. Number 7, I can pat my dog. Number 8, I can look at the mountains. And number 9, I can sit down and have a nice hot cup of coffee. That's been blessed. We've seen with this coronavirus, the small things that makes life a blessing. The small things that money cannot buy. The small things has made us better people now. Stuff the government and stuff their rules and all that. It's pulled families closer together. They may be getting across with each other, looking in each other's eyes all day. But at the end of the day, no one's going to forget this time. No one will forget this time. Recovery is something like the restoration of a very old painting, covered over by layers and layers of darkening varnish. Not all of the underlying pattern can be revealed at one time. And that's what God does to us. He takes us and he sands us, or he molds us, and he's molding this alcoholic who believes that he cannot function without alcohol. He cannot go to the toilet without alcohol. He can't eat because he doesn't want to eat. He can't drive. He can't make a tie because his hands are shaking. The alcohol had become the master. The alcohol was in charge until we let go and let God. It's the only way. I saw today a video clip of Satanists walking down the strip of New York, and I'm very blessed to have walked to that same strip in New York, asking people to sign up and join us and that, and I thought, oh God, the world is coming to an end very soon. But let us be sober when we leave there. I'm not talking to the parents now and the loved ones. I'm talking to us addicts. Because we were pulled from the brink of hell. We were busy slipping into Satan's camp. And some man or woman, sent by God, pulled us back, hi Dean, and said, come my son, come my daughter, you belong to me. God takes us and he molds us. And he starts thinking of he says, okay, this is your character defects. You're doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. Let's do it. Let's work it. If you have honesty, rigorous honesty, you will survive. Because if I do what I've done today, I do it tomorrow, I'm still going to be sober. I'm sober tonight. If I do what I did today, I'm going to be sober at all times. When we come into recovery, we find a greater personal freedom. It's beautiful to walk down the street. The cops aren't looking at you. Some other men's wives aren't looking at you. Not because you're ugly, but just because I don't want to go there. You can maybe all inbox Michelle afterwards. And you're free. You don't have to look over your shoulder. When you go into the drug dealer, you're looking more over your shoulder than you are in front of you. Let the welfare look after you. But you're so focused on getting to that drug, and you're looking, and you're shit scared, you're petrified. Am I going to be arrested? And then you come back and do your thing. Freedom. The first time I knew what freedom was like was when they turned the key of Paulsmoor prison, and I was on the inside and not the outside. As a cop, I used to put people inside. This time I was on the outside. Never give up 5 minutes before the miracle. God could and would if he was sought. Because God knows when the time is right. People want to rush recovery. They want 2-minute noodle recovery. They want recovery on a plate. They want to think they can come in, read half a big book, stay for 3 weeks in a place, and go out and they'll never drink and never drug again. And the battery's going low in 30 seconds. Sorry, I got Carla. He's still tripping so well. He says, I'm using her phone because my thing wasn't working. So just give me a bit of time here while Carl finds the hole. He's got 5 children. And can we put it that way?
We can't balance it.
Okay, all right, that's fine. See, he's sharp.
Oh, 5, 4. Don't touch it.
Okay. So, thanks, Carl, for helping me out there, my brother.
Pleasure, sir.
If we are planning to stop alcohol and drugs, there can't be reservations. There can't be terms and conditions. It can't be said, okay, I'm going to go to a rehab for a month. I'm going to pay 60,000. I'm going to come out because the more expensive the rehab, the better the rehab. Please, people. What utter crap. You cannot do the 12 steps because they all advertise the 12 steps, but you cannot do the 12 steps in 3 weeks. So how can you advertise the 12 steps? Can't do it, man. What do you want to rush? You want to go out whole. You want to give your life to the Lord. You want to get baptized. Many of our guys give their lives to the Lord here. Our pastors come here twice a week. Then on Sunday to give church service. And they give their lives to the Lord. A lot of people come in here just for the key to the door. A lot of people just come here because they got court cases. But I don't write any letter for any court saying you did your treatment 200% when you only did it 20%. Then you must go take the consequences in the court of law. Because I'm not throwing my integrity away for no one. Hello, Dr. DeToy. She's our doctor, our resident doctor. Likes red wine for anyone who wants to know. Only a glass a night, I believe. Michelle's friend. And can't do things like that. Reservation, there can't be terms and conditions. The child cannot say to the parent, this is what I want, this is what I want. On our farm, no one in the program has got a cell phone or a laptop. Only the senior people who've been here a long time, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, they've got a laptop and a cell phone. But it's not to play on. You either work on it, or you don't have it on you. We mustn't be, one day we tell the youngsters that one day we're going to be immune to alcohol and drugs. No man who's lost his legs can grow them back. It's the same with an alcoholic and an addict. Once you have crossed the invisible line, it's over. It's done. It's virtually under the bus. My alcoholism has taken me to a place where I've been so lucky to have traveled a lot of places in this world to go and carry the story of my life. I've had a lot of TV crews making videos, even China. They didn't bring the virus before then. Making videos of my life. And I often think back, is that what I wanted? Did I want to get a bit of notoriety through what I did in my past? Whose will was it? I have to ask myself. When you come into recovery or when you stop, you must be defeated. You must be gone. You must be over. You must put the firearm down, the arms behind the back, and say, I am done. God help me because I can't help myself. God, I'm sorry. Step 8. God, I'm sorry for what I've done to my mother and father. I'm sorry what I've done to my brother and sister. I'm sorry what I've done to my children. Please forgive me, God, that I never put another substance, a mind-altering substance, in my body again. It's only with a heart that one can see rightly. And it's so true. If our heart is right, I take my hat off to moms and dads, and especially mainly to moms, because they carry the can. They carry they carry it worse than the men. So we spoke about our personal freedom. It's beautiful tonight to be sober. It's beautiful to have my mom next door. She's about 15 meters away in her bed with her nurse. Beautiful tonight that the doctor could come here. I know she came to see me, but anyway. But the doctor could come here and have a look at my mom. How could I have cared for my mother who's got dementia if I was drunk and drugged? And I tell the boys that every morning. When we push my mom outside, I say, look there. There's your mother. By the grace of God, she won't be in a wheelchair and she won't be sick. But you never know. That could be your mother. Are you going to be ready? Are you going to be ready to look after your mother and your father? Or are you going to be busy at a bloody drug den? Or at some whorehouse? Take your choice now, my boy, while you're still young. Because it doesn't last forever. You cannot compel a man to do something. But you can give him the wisdom and the advice to try and save his life. We're in the hope business. Honesty, open-mindedness, purposeful, with a lot of empathy. A lot of empathy. We will love you till you can love yourself. But don't come dripping in self-pity, because then you're going to start loving yourself very soon. You know, as they say, the road to construction is always the road to recovery is always under construction. And we all make progress in recovery. That's why it's run on the 3 Ps recovery. First, you come out of recovery, you stay a year sober, unless you're married before that, and you get yourself a puppy. And you potty train that puppy, and you do everything on that puppy, and you feed the puppy, and you bath the puppy, and you comb the puppy, and you look after the puppy like a puppy. Not when our children want a puppy, they want a puppy for one day. Oh, mommy is so cute. Please get a puppy. And mommy buys a puppy, and mommy ends up picking up the dog shit and all that kind of stuff. Really looking after the puppy. 1 year in recovery. Because your emotions are still loose. 2nd year, a plant. You nurture the plant. Like never before. You water it, you trim it, you make it look beautiful. And then the 3rd one, in the 3rd year, you can go get yourself, I'll just call it what it is, a piece of pussy. Because your emotions must be right to be. I've seen 2 reasons why men relapse and women relapse in 15 years. Firstly, 30 years in this game, but 15 years sober. It's relationships and cell phones. relationships, and cell phones. Because we're not emotionally stable yet. Once we are emotionally stable, then, thanks Sally, that's about 25 rand a drag. Emotionally stable. We get gifts, and I believe that we've all got gifts. Every one of us has got a gift. The people that come through my doors are some of the most gifted, talented men you will ever see in your life. But when they come in here, they're broken, they're gone, they're dead. Like I was. And the only thing is, we were dead, but we weren't buried yet. God had risen us for another chance. Are we going to take that chance? Are we going to take that chance or just kick it in the wind? If we don't take that chance, soon there'll be no other chances. And these gifts these young men come in with, some old, but the young men come in with people with degrees, people with Springbok colours, doctors, lawyers, plumbers, you name it. But you must come and humble yourself. Leave your degrees at the door. We will teach you about addiction, but we won't only teach you, we will show you how to live life. We will show you how to have fun. The leadership woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. I think they wet themselves. And we were having fun in the lounge. Got our TV going, cigarettes are going, our coffee's going, and we're laughing, having fun. Our boys that have gone away for the weekend after they've been here a year, 9 months to a year, they can go home for a weekend every second weekend. Because they work here as well. Always in contact. Like Richie. Every day in contact, sending a message. How are you? Yes, Richie, I'm fine. How are you doing? Gone to Port Elizabeth lately? No. We become a family here. A big family. And we want to stay sober. And I've got men surrounding me that want sobriety. The other ones who are in the program that are still battling to find sobriety, we're going to show them what we have. And if you want what we have, then you follow us. And then I make you a leader. And my leaders make the people leaders. We don't make followers. Our name isn't Hitler. We make leaders. So then when they go out to the communities, they can lead. They can go and instruct people on how to stay sober with love. They can go carry the message. And what is the message? Hey, my brother, my name is Johnny. I was an addict. Today I'm sober. This is how I did it. Have you got 10 minutes? And that can save a man's life. We need to use the gifts. And to keep the gifts, I have to share them. That's the paradox of addiction. I have to give it away in order for me to keep my sobriety. The day I stop giving it away, I may as well go pick up a bottle. I may as well go pick up a bottle and say that is done. Those gifts that I've got, this grace that came over my life, grace and mercy of God, that I could be sober tonight on a Friday night, is wonderful grace. I must give it away. To do that, I need to realize we're all working towards a similar goal, that of developing our potential and becoming what we're meant to be. Like Richard Ferreira, he came in here completely broken 2 and a bit years ago. And I said, Richie, after a year, you're going to go back to wrestling. He said, what do you mean, Mr. Hall? I said, are you going to go back to wrestling, my boy? You came in here Springbok, you're going back to get your Springbok colours. 6 months ago, he got his Springbok colours again. Graham van Rensburg came in here from the streets. Today is a qualified panel beater. He still stays here. He's got his own panel shop on the farm. Enabling. There's a big difference between enabling and empowering. We help each other by sharing our experience, our strengths, and our hope. Close, warm contact with family members. We talk a lot about on the RAEL farm members, about the hell that we put them through, because I know the hell that I put my family through. I know the hell that when I was in prison. I know the hell that when I used to sleep on cardboard boxes in doorways for almost 2 years with newspaper covering me. That hell I know. That hell I don't want to go back to. That hell is over. As long as I keep doing what I should be doing and keeping the unwritten rules. We've been granted a release from this fatal obsession. It's an obsession, ladies and gentlemen. So in a very complete and literal way, we're ready to have God remove the mania for alcohol and drugs from our lives. And God has done it. And now it's our time to go and carry it out to the next person. Our time to go and talk and share of the freedom. We've all got a long walk to freedom. Every single one of us has got a long walk to freedom. And we'll walk that way to freedom. We'll walk the way to freedom if we are prepared to do anything to find sobriety. There's a massive difference. I've never craved a drink in 15 years, Susan. I go out, I go party, I go talk at functions, there's alcohol all around me. But by the grace of God, I've never craved a drink. I did take wine one day when we had communion. But if my mind said to me, that was wine, go out there and go and drink more. Luckily, I never craved a drink. I was 25 years old and I went to Alcoholics Anonymous and I stayed sober for 2.5 years. And then I relapsed because I got bigger than the game. This time we've got to 15 years. You know, we need to remove the stigma about what alcohol and drugs are doing. We need to think of our youngsters that come from the poorer families. How do we help them? We can't expect government to keep our children sober. You can't expect a headmaster to keep your children sober. I'm a big believer that families must test their children. Spare my feelings, save my life. There's something to learn every day in this recovery. Every day we learn something. But I've learned the most while I've had this organization is what the parents went through. Because I see the parents crying at my table or crying on the phone. Got a guy today said to me, "Hey, Mr. Hall, can I come sleep in a tent? I'm done from this COVID virus. I'm done. He hasn't got the virus. He's just lost his job. Can I come sleep in your premises with a tent?" The love for one another. There's no greater love for one addict to another addict. But don't play games. I'm not here to play games because here I'm playing with my life. You know, and it says in the Alcoholics Anonymous book, life will take on a new meaning. It's taken on a new meaning to me. I didn't know that in my CV one day it will say, owner of a rehab in Worcester, like of all places. Never thought that. To watch people recover and to see them help others. I'm in contact with my guys who leave here that are sober. Mr. Hall, I'm going to a meeting. I'm taking so-and-so with me. Go it, my boy. Just carry the message. Remember, it was you. There, but for the grace of God, I never forget where you come from. Forget where you come from, you're going back there. To watch loneliness vanish. Not only do we suffer from the disease of forgetfulness, we suffer from the disease of loneliness because addiction is a lonely thing. When we started at alcohol and drugs, it was fun, it was a joy, it was great. But when we crossed the invisible line, we became lonely. Very lonely. To see a fellowship of people grow around us. Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, everyone. I've met the most incredible people here since I've had this farm. The most incredible parents. And unfortunately, I've met some parents who didn't listen today. They paid the price. Recovery is an experience you must not miss. People say to me, Anthony, you're 15 years sober. That means nothing. I said, my boy, there was a man the other day said to me, I said, my boy, rather enjoy your recovery now because it's a beautiful journey. If I could, I would swap it and do your recovery and you can carry on 15 years because it's a beautiful journey. It's a wonderful journey to wake up and literally smell the roses. Literally see the flowers. I've got 2 alpacas at the back of that. They're tripping. And to look at these alpacas and to think to myself, and I've got some 2 sheep. Where would I my life had sheep or alpacas? God has got the destination for us. But sometimes this man wanted to take a route of unknown. It's like going from Cape Town to Simonstown by train. You get off at the stations and you cause shit wherever you go. You drink here, you drug here, you whore here, you gamble here. All those lovely things. And then you get to the end of the line of Simonstown. And now the train must turn around. It's then for Anthony to decide, do I get off at those same stations or do I continue and forget the past, not regret it, and want a new life? That's my choice. I'm not riding the train. I'm the passenger with the choice. The train driver knows where he has to go to. Don't miss this experience. Is sobriety all that we expect of a spiritual awakening? I remember having my spiritual awakening on the 28th of June 2005. Dominic, I agree with that completely. Completely. It's not only family, but it's loved ones. And it's people that you meet along the way. And sometimes you meet the person for 2 weeks, but they make an impression in your life. It's like when you go to meetings, you go to AA meetings and NA meetings to recharge the battery. Then you go to conventions to change the battery, to make sure that the battery's going all the time. Sobriety is only the beginning of our lives. That may sound a bit weird, but it's only the beginning. If all I have to do is put down the drink and the drug, and that was it, without changing my ways, my character defects, making amends, carrying the message, what am I sober for? Sobriety, I may as well drug. I must find a new happiness. I must teach out there and do different things, man. You can go to rugby, you can go to cricket, you can go hiking. You don't need booze or drugs. And as we go along in this road of sobriety, bit by bit, we find new things to do. We see there's a whole world out there. We see it opens up when you see someone that comes in that is broken. He's a broken flower, and you just watch that flower unfold. It just unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. There's nothing more beautiful. Think of your own garden. There's nothing more beautiful when you've been to Stodels and you have bought your flowers and you watch them open. When you see the dead of a man's eyes come alive, you know he's on his road to recovery. Then he's on his road to recovery. Some of us go down this road and we take our parents and our loved ones and our friends, as Dominic said, we take for granted. And I, for years, took my mother and father for granted. For years, 25 years, I caused them pain, hardship, with my arrogance. until the day God took away the desire for me to drink or drug. I've lost many people along the way. People who've come into this recovery center, many are sober. There are those that have relapsed. And unfortunately, there are those that I've spoken at their funeral. They paid the ultimate price. The grace on our lives. The grace on everyone watching here. The love that we've got for one another. Never give up hope, loved ones. Never give up hope that your child may one day recover. Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. It can happen at any time. I'm just going to close off and I'm going to read you this piece. It's called Live Serenely. When I drink or drug, I have a terrific hangover. Sorry, let me start that again. When a drunk has a terrific hangover because he drank heavily yesterday, he cannot live well today. But there's another kind of hangover, which we all experience whether we are drinking or not. That is the emotional hangover. The direct results of yesterday and sometimes today's excesses of negative emotion, anger, fear, jealousy, and the like. Let us all look after each other. And as I say, to finish off with the word grace. So I believe that's what it's all about. And I'm so grateful, the G's for gratitude. I'm so grateful tonight that the guys on the farm did well. They've had a beautiful day. My mother is lying with her nurse looking after her 10 meters away from me. What more could I want? What more could I want? The gratitude to be sober tonight. The gratitude to reflect sometimes when I walk on the farm of, how did you do this, Anthony? By the grace of God. Sometimes to walk out here and think, hey, Dad, I wish I could spend an hour with you on the bench. My dad is late. The R is respect. And in order for me to respect you, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone else in this world, I must respect myself. I lost all self-respect. I walked on these streets for almost 2 years without teeth in my mouth. I had no food. I used to put my hands in rubbish bins and take out food 15, 16 years ago. I used to sleep in front of churches, in front of shops, in parks, Durban Beach, East London Beach, PE Beach, Johannesburg, Gilbra. I used to sleep in a toilet there. God has brought me a long way. The A is the acceptance. I accept that I suffer from this fatal addiction. And one mistake, I will lose everything again. I'm beautifully, happily involved. I'm happy. I lead these men with my manager, Kurt Schuller. We lead them hard, but with a lot of love, because we know where we come from. Like I said, the respect, morals, values, and discipline that I learned in the police, I've relearned. And I've listened to my dad, even though he is in heaven. I'd love to spend an hour with my dad on the bench. The C is the courage. The courage for everyone to change. That this world can stop bearing, and mothers and fathers can stop bearing their children when it should be the other way around. That children can start accepting that no drug or no alcohol is going to make them a better person. The courage to change. And it takes effort, trust, belief, and not willpower. There's no willpower when it comes to a drug addiction. It's like trying willpower when you've got diarrhea. It doesn't work. And the ease, the empathy for the still suffering addict and alcoholic and all other addictions, the still suffering mother and father, the still suffering brother and sister who goes to bed every night and cries, the still suffering friend that loves you even though you can't love yourself. God, remove this demon of addiction and drug addiction away from our children, because our children are becoming lazy, our children are becoming rude, and our children have lost respect for their mothers and fathers. Thank you for listening to me tonight. God bless you, and God keep you until we meet again. Thank you.